Alright guys, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to PlayStation News, Rumours and Leaks. Let's take a look at what's been happening over the last few days in the world of gaming. So Embracer Group has officially sold Saber Interactive for $247 million. During an investors call to announce this news, Embracer CEO Lars Wingefors hinted that Star Wars KOTOR Remake, which is in development at Saber, or supposedly in development. You know, I can't really keep up with whether the game is in development or not, but what Lars Wingefors goes on to say is that if it is in development, the game would be unlikely to have a release date before 2025 and can even be later than that before we get the game on PS5. As part of the deal to sell Saber Interactive, Embracer will keep control over a previously unannounced AAA game based on a major license. And while this game was not officially identified, investors concluded that it was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake as reported previously by VGC. So Knights of the Old Republic KOTOR Remake is still alive and in development. And when quizzed about whether the game or the AAA game was expected to be released in the next 12 months, Wingefors, the CEO, goes on to say, "No, I think that the game needs some deep love and respect, so without giving it full colour, I think it's going to be some time left until that game is released. This means that the remake is not likely to be released before 2025 at the earliest. Saber Interactive has now been published by Beacon Interactive, a company controlled by Saber's co-founder Matthew Karch. As part of the deal, several other studios have also moved to Beacon Interactive, with Saber including New World Interactive, Slipgate and 3D Realms. So all those studios have been acquired by Beacon Interactive. That's Saber, New World Interactive, Slipgate and 3D Realms. Some of the studios that had been folded into the Saber publishing arm will remain at Embracer, including 34 Big Things, 4A Games, Aspire, Demiurge, Tripwire and Zen Studios, as well as the previously unannounced AAA game based on a major license, which we think is KOTOR. 13 other games currently in development will be retained by Embracer. So it is happening, I think, with KOTOR, but it's still not 100% confirmed. So we're still in this kind of muddy water territory, but it does look as though KOTOR is in development over at Saber, and if it does ever see the light of day, it won't be till at least sometime after mid-2025, and even that's pushing it. Anyway, let's move on. Rumour has it that The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered will be the next Sony first-party game to land on PC, and an announcement to that effect will come as soon as next month. However, an exact date for the announcement and a release window for the PC port are not known at the moment. So Twitter user Silk Knight, who's quickly built a reputation for their accurate leaks, claims that although The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered will be announced for PC next month, there will be a relatively long gap between its announcement and the release. Nixxes Software, the studio dedicated to porting Sony's games to PC, is currently busy working on bringing Sucker Punch's Ghost of Tsushima to Steam. So once they finished with the port of Ghost of Tsushima over onto Steam, they'll start working on The Last of Us Part 2. Now, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered PC release was only a question of when, rather than if it would ever happen. Sony has made it clear that it's going to be bringing more of its first-party games to PC following their console launch. In case of multiplayer games, the company is experimenting with day-and-date launches, as seen in the case of Helldivers 2. However, day-and-date releases for single-player games still don't seem to be on the menu. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is also due to launch on PC, but Sony has yet to officially confirm this. I think in all honesty, I think one was fairly obvious. The original Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2020, right? So 4 years is enough time on PlayStation before moving on to PC. But in all honesty, once the games have been released first onto PlayStation, as long as they've had, I would say, a minimum of 12 months on the platform, give or take, I'm fine with them going onto PC. Kind of makes sense from Sony's strategy. And speaking of games moving onto other platforms, Gears of War creator Cliffy B, or Cliff Belzinski, isn't opposed to the idea of the whole franchise, the whole Gears of War franchise, launching on the PS5. A while back, rumours emerged that Microsoft was considering taking the popular Xbox exclusive to rival PlayStation. But there's no word on whether those internal talks will ever materialize. During an interview though with Gamerant, Blazinski was asked to give his thoughts on the rumor, in response to which he said that more players the franchise has, the better. He added that he thinks Xbox boss Phil Spencer is aiming to break down the console barriers and go for a Netflix-style model that started with Xbox Game Pass, and then, like Netflix, they realised that they need to be on every device. And Cliffy B continues by saying people have been joking about Gears of War coming to PlayStation for over a decade, and I think the more the merrier. So despite retiring from the games industry, he does go on to say he doesn't mind encouraging Gears fandom, something that he claims is something there to embrace. He's of the view that the more people that play Gears of War, the more Gears of War tattoos we'll see. So I guess this is all open to debate, but some will argue once a game comes out onto a platform and has been played many times and has had many years on the platform, why can it not then go on to other competing platforms? Which is a fair question. The game can enjoy a new lease of life, the studio and publisher reaps more sales, and prior to making the next game in the franchise, if the game picks up more fans from it going to new platforms, there may be more interest in the next entry in the franchise when it does come out. And it may tempt gamers into buying a new console, right, on the rival platform, a console that they thought they were never going to buy. So I get it. On the other hand, when a first-party game comes to a console, it's very much part of the brand. It's part of the fabric and the community on that platform. It's what bonds people together on that platform, and it's theirs. They don't want it to go anywhere else, as it would take something of intrinsic value away from the platform. It also lessens the reason and the appeal to own the platform, despite the game being exclusive on the platform for a number of years. I can see this argument from both sides, but I can never see Nintendo releasing Mario games or Zelda games onto Xbox or PlayStation, and at the moment I cannot see PlayStation releasing first-party games like God of War and Ghost of Tsushima onto Xbox. Releasing onto PC is different, right? It's different. But I can see Xbox releasing their first-party games onto other platforms. I feel Xbox has lost much of its identity. It has so much value and quality during the 360 era, but I feel Xbox games at the moment is heading towards a third-party publisher. Bit by bit, their identity is being taken away. And I'm not knocking. I'm just saying, if you look at the identity, I think it struggles. It does bother me, in a way. I mean, not in terms of what Xbox does, but what does bother me is if Microsoft stops making the Xbox console, that would really bother me. Sony needs a competitor, even though Xbox has been piss poor competitor over the last 10 years or so. Sony does need a competitor. It needs competition in the market. With Nintendo aligning itself to a younger audience, and Sony PlayStation aligning itself to a more mature gaming audience, still with games, I suppose, from all ages, but you tend to find more games available with darker themes, more suited to adults on the PlayStation platform than they tend to do on Nintendo. And PlayStation has seemingly found itself as the place to be for single-player games. It is the market leader and the go-to platform for those types of amazing cinematic experiences. And I feel Nintendo is okay with this. They know their audience and they are happy for now to cater for them. After all, Nintendo is amazing at what it does for their audience, and I feel PlayStation on the whole, if you take a look at the past decade or so, over the last 10 years, it hasn't done much wrong and has consistently delivered for the core audience. So this begs the question, what is Xbox's identity? What are they good at? How are they catering to their core audience? I honestly believe Microsoft sees Xbox games as a Game Pass service, which it believes it can place on every screen and on every platform available. That is the Microsoft identity of Xbox, and that is Game Pass on every device. That's the identity that I think they're pushing for behind the scenes. Whether they admit that or not, who knows? The question you really need to think about, how long before Xbox consoles are completely phased out and replaced with just Game Pass? Let me know if that happens, and if it does happen, it's a sad day for the gaming industry. Let me know what you think down below in the comments about today's topics. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next PlayStation News, Rumours and Leaks video.